Welcome to Black Issues Forum. I'm Deborah Holt Noel. At a recent meeting of the Raleigh Economic Development and Innovation Committee, presidents of both St. Augustine's and Shaw Universities collaborated in presenting a case for city support and financial investment. As a part of their argument, they highlighted the success of an initiative in Charlotte developed by Mayor Vi Lyles that brought over $80 million to Johnson C. Smith University. Both presidents are here today to share more about their presentation and the response that they received from the committee and from the Raleigh Mayor, Mary Ann Baldwin. I want to welcome Dr. Christine McPhail, the president of St. Augustine's University, and Dr. Paulette Dillard, the president of Shaw University. I'm so excited to have both of you with us.
Good morning.
Dr. McPhail, first, how did this collaboration with Shaw University come about?
It was a natural happening. Both Dr. Dillard and I are long-term educators, and we could easily see the connectivity between the two institutions. We know that our students need support, so we frequently talk about how we can use our combined resources collectively to provide increased access and sustainability at both institutions to better serve students. So it was a natural collaboration around a common good, common interest, and also our interest in improving higher education quality in the city of Raleigh. And we believe fundamentally that both of our institutions have historically played a role in that. And we want the city to know how important it is for them to invest in the future of both of these HBCUs.
And Dr. Dillard, I imagine you feel pretty much the same.
Absolutely. As Dr. McPhail said, it's a natural progression for Shaw University and St. Augustine's University to collaborate on issues that are, the same literally for our campuses because we serve, a similar population of students. But even more than that, we are long-standing members of the Raleigh community. And we are not only seeking support, but we're seeking partnership with the city of Raleigh to help the city of Raleigh and our community achieve its widespread goals. So the whole presentation was not about just investing in our two institutions. It was about economic development for the city of Raleigh and what a critical role our two institutions can play in making sure that there is equitable engagement in all aspects of our community in that economic development. And you've got two institutions that have been serving that population for over 150 years. So it just seemed to make good economic sense to both Dr. McPhail and I that we should begin these conversations. So that was really, and let me point out, the Economic Development Committee of the City Council reached out to us and invited us to engage in these discussions that we brought forth the idea. So I don't want it to go unmentioned that the invite came from the Economic Development Committee to us to engage in this conversation.
That is key, and oftentimes that's not highlighted in the reports back. So what would you say, and also Dr. McPhail, are the central tenets of your presentation? And what were the appeal foundations? What were you asking for?
Well, actually, we have had two meetings. The first meeting was just to explore potential opportunities for St. Augustine's and Shaw to partner with the city of Raleigh on economic development. So we proposed two initiatives for the city of Raleigh to take a look at. One was the racial equity initiative, the Mayor's Racial Equity Initiative in Charlotte, which has been very, very successful. And the other was a proposal to create a digital innovation hub here in Raleigh. And again, these two ideas were for the city to explore based on our research that these would be two initiatives that would benefit the city, in a lot of ways, especially the underrepresented communities within the city of Raleigh. So those were the two initiatives from our original meeting. And the second meeting, which was Tuesday a week ago, we came back to hear what the city had discovered in looking into the two ideas that were proposed in that original meeting. So again, those were the two ideas. It was an ideation session. It wasn't an appeal. We haven't gotten there yet. We're in the early discussions about it, but these were two models that we believe could work amazingly in our community. And the city looked into it, they assigned staff to it. And so now we're waiting to see if there is a way that the city can be the driver of a public-private partnership on racial equity, with both St. Augustine's and Shaw being core to that.
Dr. McPhail, let me ask you, at that presentation, and thank you very much, Dr. Dillard, but at the presentation that was recently made at the City Council meeting, it was indeed explained what was discovered about the MREI, which is the Mayor's Racial Equity Initiative in Charlotte. What would you say were the reactions? How did you gauge the reaction of the leadership and the mayor? And what was your reaction? Do you still think that what happened in Charlotte is something that's possible in Raleigh?
I'm going to start with the latter part of your question first. My reaction is that this is a beginning. This is a conversation that, of course, must continue, and then we must dig deeper. It's very important for the city of Raleigh and others to understand that Shaw and St. Augustine's University are major employers in this area. And I don't think that's as obvious to many people as it should be. We bring a huge economic impact, and we're some of, as I mentioned, the largest employers in this area. And many times, we are engaged in the conversations about economic development after the fact. So we're saying, because we have such a unique history in this city, and we bring a considerable amount of assets to the conversations, recognize the impact that we can have, that we have in terms of expanding diversity, equity, inclusion. We have the capacity to help the city of Raleigh deliver in a very huge way their diversity, equity, and inclusion goals. We don't have to establish new policies to reach marginalized students, underserved communities, etc., so that all of our citizens will have access to quality of life. That's what we do. That's what we've done historically. So that's what we bring to the table already. So in terms of what I thought the city did was to go and do the exploration. Now I think we talked about collaboration earlier. I think that we do need to have Dr. Dillard and myself in the room with the city staff, with the city team, to say, this is what we see that emerged from your exploration. Let's see how we can take that conversation to the next level. Now, the conversation could possibly stop if the city believed that Dr. Dillard and I were asking for the same amount of money that the Charlotte leaders put into the equation.
And were you asking for that amount of money, or what were you actually asking for?
We were asking for possibilities to take a look, and I know and asked Dr. Diller to expand upon this because she has an eloquent explanation as well. Look at the capacity of the city of Raleigh. Let's take that into consideration, and then let's determine what it is that this city can do. Everything, we can't compare the city of Raleigh with Charlotte. We can say, here's a good model that we can learn from. Now, how can we apply the best practices from that model to the city of Raleigh?
Absolutely.
And that's where we are.
And we have about a minute left. Dr. Diller, did you want to share what you think are the next steps?
The next steps, we believe, is to continue to explore with the city what we can do, as Dr. McPhail said, in Raleigh. And what can we do to leverage the historically Black colleges and universities in the city of Raleigh to achieve the economic development goals of the city, especially as it relates to communities of color.
So you feel very positively about what happened at the last meeting and about the next steps?
Absolutely.
Very good, very good. And you as well, Dr. McPhail?
Yes, we're eager to help the city of Raleigh democratize economic development in the city of Raleigh. And we know that we are prepared to do that. We're looking very much forward to being contributing partners.
Well, I am excited for what is to come and what can grow for both institutions. Dr. Christine McPhail and Dr. Paulette Dillard, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you. It's always a delight to see.
Likewise. And we have been talking to leaders in higher education about how HBCUs can generate equity. Our next guest is also an